Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief recap. I like to draw that out just to make sure the YouTube page is doing it. It is. Yay. Way to go, Kevin. Actually, today is Wednesday, and Wednesdays, actually, it's a special treat for TRI. We have sort of our advanced stock picker community. I got to tell you, these guys are fucking good. We had our meetings on Tuesday evenings. I was MIA. I didn't really feel in the mood to do it. But nonetheless, they got together, and I was super pleased to hear that they were just doing their thing. And Kevin came on and did a little sort of summary of some of their findings last night. And actually, there was one idea Kevin pitched to us. I liked it so much I bought the stock while he was talking, and I don't even think he realized it. But anyway, I actually don't really want to buy anything right now. So to actually pitch an idea to get Brian off his ass to go, holy fuck, I gotta go grab some of that, it's got to be a pretty good idea. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And of course, you could always pop on the site and do 30-day trials and all that kind of fun stuff to find out what name he was interested in here this morning. As for the broader market, of course, today is a Fed announcement day. So we have a general rule around TRI. Don't trust the market. Don't trust what you're seeing until one full hour following the Fed announcement. So I think that's probably pertinent today, just as any other market. And I'm wondering whether maybe there were just some, sort of subtle traps being laid here overnight ahead of that Fed announcement. There's some price action that I'm seeing that, my thesis is dollar bullish, commodity bearish, and I'm seeing that. But I wonder whether this is a trap and they're trying to goad people into thinking one way. Then the Fed comes out, does their announcement. And on balance, I can't see the Fed really saying anything sort of contracturally. My hunch is they're probably going to be like, yep, situation's difficult. The spigot is on. The spigot will spit out as much capital as the market needs. And once we get a handle on this virus and vaccines, then I would imagine we'll probably have to pay the piper for all this. But while we're through the crisis, and if I understand correctly, crisis 2.0 now of this virus is really ramping up. And ironically enough, if we thought 2020 was a tough lockdown year, oh boy, 2021 could be just an absolute mess. Anyway, make hay while the sun's shining. I think they've bid equity prices up. Take advantage of it, might as well. I don't think it's a good idea to chase. You can see anybody who's chased Bitcoin or cryptocurrency moves up into that top there. They're getting punished right now. And just try and hunt those W's. I mean, really, the price action itself, the W itself implies that hey, at least there's some demand for this thing. You go chasing markets that are moving straight up, you don't know where the last point where the bulls stopped the bear was. It might be a lot lower than where you bought. So be careful, people. And of course, the W's unto themselves, there's no guarantee. It's just sort of a mark. And of course, if the W's fail and you're trading on any kind of leverage or size, if the W's start failing, you better, respect risk management and act accordingly. Anyway, market does what the market does. What I love about TRI, and we've been doing this long enough, like I said, we have a robust enough community. Hell, we were even with the S&Ps down like, I don't know, 7 points or something right on the open. I mean, that's not really the most bullish of days in the stock market. And yet we're still banging out doubles here at TRI. This is ridiculous. I've talked to you guys about Jamie. Like I've said repeatedly of late, this is a stock picker's market. And if you know how to pick stocks, you can make a lot of money in this kind of market. Um, hopefully you see W type price action. So you go, okay, I can understand why Brian would be bullish of this. And yeah, way to go. Looks like you kicked ass. Can you come in on the buy side here? I don't think so. Uh, oh, thank you. Cell phone's reminding me. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. All right, what the hell am I supposed to be talking about with you guys? That's this screen, right? So this is actually a really good example of what I was talking about there a moment ago. That I wonder whether the market, here's the Fed announcement bar. That's this bar right here. I love the fact that we've got these W's now working on our U.S. dollar index, which is basically my thesis. But this was an awfully big move before the Fed announcement. I wonder whether this is a bit of a trap. As you can see, we could go both ways here. Now that we popped up top here, I think the head and shoulders top thesis is actually off the table. So that's encouraging for dollar bulls, not encouraging for Bitcoin bulls or commodity bulls. But I am a dollar bull, so I kind of like that. But I don't know. This past 12 hours price action looks very suspicious. Anyway, as we said there to start off the broadcast, super, super important. Do not trust the market until 1 full hour following the Fed announcement. So that means that really all of this is just fluff. It's nonsense. It's meaningless. And that announcement's in about an hour. About 50 minutes or so. And then we have to wait for a full hour following that. Now they have press conferences and stuff. And then you can start to sort of make some conclusions about price action. We might find that this goddamn stock market before the end of the day firms up. I mean, you can see into that Fed announcement, they're not happy. But the irony with this is that actually there's an old saying that if the market sells off into a Fed meeting, that's actually bullish. And if the market rallies into the Fed meeting, that's actually bearish. So ironically enough, seeing this price action into the Fed meeting is actually bullish for the other side of it. Go figure, eh? That's like I said, I wonder whether there's a little funny business going on with the US dollar index here heading into that. Like, look at that move, eh? Straight up there. So, there's your backdrop. Risk off. You can see the risk offers. Oil's actually hanging in there, but I think oil topped out actually about a week or two ago, eh? Sort of just waiting for which shoe's going to drop here with the oil market. Cryptocurrencies, oh boy. And I've told you recently, there's not really much to talk about in this space right now. They got to clean themselves up. But if you're a stock picker and you know how to pick stocks, like this is one of Kevin's. I love this company. Super boring. I think they're like in the manufacturing industry. I mean, look at those W's. Oh, so pretty. And it got really weird sort of fills here today. This little guy, look at that chart, just beautiful. Forced myself to step in off the bottom of the range. W's, momentum divergences, and bang, free stock. Woohoo! I love it. I mean, that's you just keep doing this over and 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 over. And you're going to become pretty damn wealthy. So just slow and steady, rinse and repeat. Don't take no wooden nickels. Try and hunt for names that are just putting in W's and just breaking out, so that when they do pop, you're selling into those rallies. I mean, you want to see a funny story? This is hilarious. I actually pitched this idea to the community right here. Isn't that funny? Back in June, July. And the response from the community, which is so beautiful. I mean, I don't give a shit. It's just another trade, right? But the response to the community was, nobody ever buys anything from shopping malls anymore. Nobody buys video games from a retailer. But you can see, I mean, pulled back, nice 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. Look at the W. So, I mean, it's almost funny when you look back, but could you come in on the buy side on something like this here? No. You should have been buying here. And of course, you'd be fucking driving your Lambo right now, right? So just learn this stuff. Bottom end of the range, W's, bullish momentum divergences, you're good to go. If it doesn't look like this, stay the hell away from it. It's almost funny seeing that. So what am I supposed to be talking to you guys about here? I think it's this one. Oh boy, what a mess, eh? More M's below trend lines. Remember we talked about this really ugly one. I kind of thought that probably that was the trading range, and they even puked out here. I tell you, this Bitcoin market looks like it's got trap written all over it, which of course, that's the last thing in the world all you guys want to hear. But the one good part about what I do is I don't give a fuck about this asset. I mean, I know that sounds kind of weird. I trade price action. I trade location. I trade fundamentals. I mean, the worst part about Bitcoin is you look at the cost of production. I mean, you see where the cost of production is. These are the most efficient miners. There's probably a bunch of sort of lower tier miners that their cost of production's up in this area, but not up here. I can't figure out why the hell anybody's buying this here, but there's a lot of emotion in this space, a lot of emotion tied into these fear proxies. And actually, at the end of the daily brief today, there was one site member that stuck around. I chatted with him here a little bit, and I just asked him this question to finish off the conversation. When you are investing your hard-earned money, are you investing based on yesterday's story? Or are you investing on the anticipation of tomorrow's story? And I'm very worried that people, every time I talk to anybody about Bitcoin, the very first thing they say is, oh, money printing. Oh, yeah. Is that yesterday's story or is that tomorrow's story? I believe this is exactly like the dot-com boom when University of Princeton professors, economic professors, laughed at directors of tech stock companies as the tech stock company directors were saying, I'm getting out, I'm selling, I'm taking profits. I think this is ridiculously overvalued. I'm done. And the university professors on national television laughed at the guy's face. I mean, literally, what are you, stupid? I mean, on national television, how humiliating is that? And yet, who was right? So I think the same story is happening here. Do with your capital as you please, but there's no way in hell I could buy a name like that there. And really, I can't chase the nonsense going on in Ethereum right now. I mean, if you want to try and outsmart these guys through this, fine. Good luck. You can see they popped the top, ran some stops, and then, basically what, 1, 2, 3, 4 straight days down. Sure hope you survive through that. And I don't see any reason why this can't go on. This could be absolute chaos through this. So this has got hands off completely for a guy like me. And I think I've told you guys recently, there are some really interesting little blockchain names that I do like this Ubic, for example. So it's like I said, it's the same thing I said about Bitcoin. Well, it's not the same thing. It's slightly different. This one hasn't performed yet. I mean, look at that. That's a name I could consider coming in on. But Bitcoin and Ethereum, do their charts look like that? Remember Da Vinci and I, we did a video when Ethereum's chart looked like it was right down in this area here. That was, let's see, we did a video together. This is a futures chart, so it's not exactly the same thing. But we did a video right here. And we said that, well, at the very least, this thing should do a 50% retracement. Now, clearly, it went far beyond that. But just even the 50% rule is $533, right? And we were talking, it was about $100, $200, right? And you can see it climb its way up. Oh, head fake, going to come back down, test the lows. Well, we eventually did get up. And of course, the end result. Point here is, down in this area, kind of like what I showed you with that GameStop, down in this area is where you should have been interested. And then, The really slick traders, they came in and bought like down through here on a serious test of these lows. And that was very difficult trade. You could have just come in following that and then stepped in and bought there, whatever. Point here is this is where you're supposed to be buying, not way up here. This is ridiculous. So, that's the kind of environment that we're in right now. There's no way in hell I could come in and invest in these kind of names up here. That looks nuts. But do you see W's? Hell, you could have come in and bought that right there. That's fine. Risk against these lows. Okay. But can you come in here thinking that? No. But like I said, you look at other names in the space. Well, that one sure looks like that kind of conversation that Da Vinci and I had, and we had when Ethereum was like $100-$200. Well, it's doing the same kind of thing. And gee whiz, looks like it's really doing well here right now. I got a bunch of this, but I wouldn't mind adding some more. The only problem is I have a bid like right down here, and these fuckers, this thing's highly, highly manipulated. So be careful. See this kind of run here? They were just doing nothing more than just washing out weekends. So be damn careful if you're interested in these kind of names. But there's no reason why this thing can't just do very, very well going forward. And you know what I actually think is going to happen here? I actually think that this is going to be a summer of orgy in these kind of names and this crypto sort of medium tier stories. I don't think it's now. I think, usually end of January, beginning of February, there's a pullback in the market. When I was a commodities broker, we had a classic line, buy your unleaded the middle of February. Why the middle of February? Because usually the first or second week of February is kind of shitty, ugly looking. I remember last year, it actually bottomed the middle of March. Point here is, through this little sort of window here at the beginning of the year, go carefully, tread lightly. Through the middle of February, setting up into March, getting ready for 420, all that kind of stuff. I really like the idea of accumulating these alts for that summer silly season. So, on a name like this, you could probably just come in, throw in your reload zone bids. You see that big tail. You see where the fuck yous are. My hunch is probably bids down in this area might get filled over the next month or two, which I'm going to try and buy some more. Yeah, I'd be interested. Don't chase. Is it a good idea to come in up top here? Probably not. That's the kind of market state it is. In fact, actually, I was surprised that Kevin actually pitched me an idea through the daily brief. But remember, these TRI SOF guys are fucking killer. But I was actually surprised when he was talking about this. I was like, holy shit, I just got to go grab some of that. That's the breakout. That's the buy. Because very rarely does that ever happen. Usually, and there was a few more names we kicked around today, and I threw in bids. Like this link. I would not come in on the buy side here. But you see where the last W was. You want to maybe come in and just throw a stink bid in against these lows. What do you think the odds are? The reload zone is somewhere down in here. I'd say probably pretty good. So there's no reason why you can't just go throw in a bid in your reload zone. There's the original W. There's a big tail to be eaten. And again, that's the kind of market state that I think we're in right now. It's not really like I'm link bearish, but I can't buy here. Well, same thing as Bitcoin and Ethereum. And really, that UBIC, same thing. Don't chase. Reload zone bids. And even on Bitcoin and Ethereum, throw in your long-term reload zone bids. Maybe get 1 or 2 days, somebody fucking shits their pants and corn dumps 50%, and you get a gift. I don't see anything wrong with that strategy. But in the short term, just a big hurry up and grind. I didn't actually follow this because I think I told you yesterday I really didn't like this M, but it doesn't surprise me that this is what's happened here. Interesting, we're back at a downtrend line. Notice W above this line confirms higher. Notice, look at they're banging around below the line. So even if this thing breaks out through here, I wouldn't consider that a buy signal. I'd probably have to wait for another W on the other side of this line to actually get a buy signal. And probably in the short term, it's kind of like AB. Oh, CD. Remember, we got the Fed coming out here. Could they be setting up a nice little FU move against these lows? Remember, we talked about this the other day. That was which one was it? It was one of these charts. This right here. This ABCD level still has not been traded to. Oh man, this is a grind. Now we do have Fed. So maybe if we're lucky, we're on the other side of the Fed. This thing starts to firm up. You can even see that trend line conversation. That was just a little ABCD. It also is pointing down to this objective. So I'm not convinced this thing's ready to go up yet. But something like AB, CD, you can see there's that low. Remember, we talked about liquidity pools down there. Look how this thing's going to come right down there. And of course, you got this bigger ABCD sitting there. So there's just nothing for a guy like me here to do. Maybe if we're lucky, get back above this trend line, start Wing out, and hey, maybe we've got something to work with. But it ain't today. And all the blockchain stocks, they all look very similar. Just gotta wait. Right now, it's in cleanup mode. And I don't have a problem working stink bids, kind of like this image. We'll see how the Fed goes. Maybe they can close this out higher than these levels, work our way up, break this downtrend line, start Wing, and away we go. But for now, there just isn't anything to do. All right. So, with the backdrop of the Fed, not really a hell of a lot new I want to pitch at you. With the way the breadth is looking here, market's looking a little dangerous. Just be careful. And of course, if the market gives you the opportunity, just make damn sure to have your open orders working at your levels and just let the market pay you. There's nothing wrong with getting paid in this business. And if anything, that's the one thing I hate about this business. Maybe somebody comes in and buys this W and goes, look how smart I am. Oh, look at that. I'm a fucking genius. And then they don't do anything. And the damn thing goes right back down and actually makes new lows. That happens all the time in this business. So if the market does afford you the opportunity, for God's sakes, pay yourself. At the very least, get yourself into a risk-free position so that if this does roll over and go to zero, so what? Remember, I got lots of hair on my head. I want to keep the hair on my head. I want to keep it brown. I told the lady the other day my age, and she was like, and you have no gray hair? Oh, must be strong genes. No, it's actually, I try to make damn sure to try and live as least a stressful life as possible. I mean, you all know my story. Fuck, 10 years ago, the end of the world happened. So the fact that I'm not gray or bald right now actually is a bit of a surprise, but I think it has a lot to do with this is the way that I approach my life. You can see I don't live a very stressful life, and all I do is I just keep making money from trading. So I suppose I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Slow and steady wins the race. One foot in front of the other. Don't take no wooden nickels. You know the story. And if you want to find out that stock that Kevin got me to buy here today, maybe pop on the site and try our 30-day trial, and that way you get a nice little free teaser. But remember, I'm telling you what I'll do with my money. Kevin will tell you what he does with his money. Nobody at TRI is going to tell you what to do with your money. It's your money. You do with it as you please. And if it's not a bad idea, if you're working with a financial advisor to run some of the ideas that we have by your financial advisor, see what they have to say. So don't take too much risk. All right. Try to play from a position of strength and remember what your number one job as a trader is. Let's see in your comments field here today whether you guys can tell me what your number one job is. I'd be curious. I know guys like Brew Hoo Hoo, I think they get it. But he's actually now on the site now, I think. So we captured him. But I'd be curious, your regular viewers, whether you actually know what your number one job is. And oh, by the way, those that are shorting GameStop right now, they're learning, oh boy, I might be in big trouble because I didn't remember what my number one job is. So, okay, everybody, I think I'll leave the rant at that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. Kevin, if you could take us out of here. All the best, and bye for now.